Hello, everyone. My name is Keith Bailey coming at you with my NFL 2016 Week 3 picks and predictions. All right, so Tennessee finally got a win last week. I say finally, dating back to the previous year, 2015, when they lost 4 straight games to end the year. And once again, Tennessee sits with a 1-1 record. Um, we've had this record for the last 2 years, and both years things have gone completely south after being 1-1. So hey, maybe the third year's the charm, who knows. But anyways, without further ado, first game we got the Houston Texans at the New England Patriots. Jacoby Brissett is playing for New England, and he's going up against J.J. Watt and company with Houston. But I'm picking, and a lot of people are 50-50 in this game. This is probably going to be one of the best games of the weekend. It could go great. It could be a terrible game. It could be a blowout. We have no idea. It could be a blowout either way, really, and we wouldn't know. We have no idea because Bill Belichick is such a wizard that I'm picking the Patriots because I can't go against him. I went against him once in the Cardinals game, and he made me pay for it. So I'm picking the Patriots here to continue to 3-0 to take out the Houston Texans by a score of 20-17. It will be a close game, but Houston's won both of their games by an average of 8 points against the Bears and the Chiefs. The win against Kansas City was a little more impressive only because Kansas City is much better than the Bears. But I still believe the Patriots will win this game. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills just fired their offensive coordinator, although they put up 31 points on offense. Does that make sense? Not really. But they had a reason why they did it. Bills are dysfunctional right now, and I think their losing streak continues here because I don't foresee the Cardinals going to 1-2. Or really doing much to allow the Bills to score many points. I think the Cardinals will win this game by a score of 35-14 over the Bills. Arizona seems to have rekindled their high flying offense that they have had last year. They made the Bucks look like a college team, and I think Arizona goes into Buffalo while it's still nice here in New York and doesn't have any trouble getting the win. It may be a East Coast game for them, but I don't think it matters. The Cardinals did really well on the East Coast last year and the year before that. So the fact that Arizona is traveling shouldn't be much of an issue. Next game, we have the Oakland Raiders going up against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. This might come as a surprise to few, but I'm not picking the Titans in this game. I still don't believe in them yet. Their 5 wins in previous 2 years, before this previous win against Detroit. But after their 5 wins, they have lost their next game by an average of 2 touchdowns. So I'm not putting that much faith in them because the Titans just like to lose after they win a game. I don't know what it is. I'm very, very optimistic about this game, don't get me wrong, and I think Tennessee has a chance to put themselves on the map a little bit here. But when it just seems too good to be true. That's all I have to say. And the Raiders defense is bad and Tennessee will score points in this game. But the Raiders are more developed at this stage than Tennessee is. And as bad as that Raiders defense plays, I think this will be the game where the Raiders defense kind of rebounds a little bit. I think the Raiders win 28-24 over Tennessee. Tennessee's defense can't play this well all the time. So maybe I'm trying to find ways to excuse the Tennessee Titans in a way that they're going to lose this game. But it is a new year. It is a new team. You never know. But I've seen this movie before, and I don't want to put stock into them until they can prove to me that they can win more than one game and do more than just start off 1-1 because that's all they seem to do. That's the Tennessee Titans have not had a winning record in the NFL after week 2 since 2013 week 5, and that was when they were 3-2 because they lost a game to the Kansas City Chiefs, who were undefeated at that point. So it's been a minute since Tennessee has had a winning record. It's been 3 years. So I know things have to come to an end at some point, and I know Oakland's kind of having the same thing going for them too, considering they probably haven't had much of a winning record at this stage in a while. They've usually been playing with more losses than wins, and that the Raiders have been winning a couple games recently, but I think the Raiders still win this game. Tennessee has shown me once, then they need to show me one more time. Next up, we got the Browns at the Dolphins. Both teams 0-2. Both teams suck. Should I call this Toilet Bowl of the Week? Are there any other worse games going on? There's one that comes close. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, this is Toilet Bowl of the Week. Browns at Dolphins. Miami gets the win here. Cleveland is playing their third quarterback in as many games. Miami still has Ryan Tannehill, and the Dolphins. It's not like It's not like the Dolphins have been blown out. So I think Miami gets the win here by a score of, I'm going to say, 24-17 against Cleveland. I think Cleveland keeps it a little close, but I think Miami will get the win. Ravens at Jaguars. The Ravens are the third 2-0 team that I have seen so far. The first two I pointed out with the Texans and Patriots, and one of them will drop a game, so one of them will stay undefeated. So our undefeated watch right now is New England. I have going to 3-0 so far. That's it. And I have the Ravens dropping this game. I have the Ravens going into Jacksonville and getting the loss. The Ravens, for whatever reason, seem to struggle against Jacksonville. Let me pull up their database real quick because I think it might surprise some people. If my Google actually wants to load. Or, yeah, there it is. There it goes. But just brace yourselves for this. This is a little interesting, and we'll see what it is here real quick because I know the Jaguars won last year. So let's go Ravens versus Jaguars history. Football database. Okay, here we go. The last couple times the Jaguars and Ravens have squared off against one another. Oof. Not good. Alright, these two teams have played 5 times since 2005. In 2005, back when the Jaguars were still wheeling and dealing and they were pretty good, the Ravens lost 30-3. In 2008, which was when the Jaguars really started to get bad. The Ravens won 27-7. So that was in 2008. And in 2011, they played 3 times. 2011, 2014, and 2015. These two teams have played. And the Ravens are 1-2 against Jacksonville in those 3 games. The first game was on, I remember it clear as day, it was a Monday Night Football game, and the Ravens couldn't muster any offense up, and they lost 12-7. 2014, which was 2 years ago, they played at home in December, and the Ravens did go to the playoffs this year, and the Jaguars were struggling, but the Ravens only won this game 20-12, so Jacksonville hung tight against them. And then last year, the Jaguars went into M&T Bank Stadium and beat the Ravens 22-20. So these two teams have a little bit of history. They haven't played every single year against one another, but it's almost like it's like a little rivalry no one ever talks about because this will be their 3rd straight year playing one another. And I think the Jaguars continue to give them fits. So I believe the Jaguars take this game 23-20 over Baltimore, and Baltimore's undefeated streak comes to an end. Next up, we got Lions at Packers. I think Green Bay gets on the right track in this game. The Lions have given the Packers fits recently, but I think Detroit will score more points in this game than they did last game against Tennessee. But the Lions' defense isn't something worth, really talking much about. So I think the Green Bay Packers come in here, or the Lions go into Green Bay, and I think Green Bay gets the win by a score of 30-20. I think Green Bay's offense gets back on track. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos at the Cincinnati Bengals. This game also features an undefeated team on the road against a team that should be solid. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals will get the win here, though, because Trevor Siemian can't have all the success in the world, even with a good defense. And unlike last year, the Bengals are healthy. When these two teams played last year, it was A.J. McCarron who got the start, and the Bengals lost in overtime. So I think fortunes change here, and I think Cincinnati gets the win over Denver and ends their undefeated bid. I think the Bengals win by a score of, let's say, 27-20 over Denver. This offense can give Denver's defense a little bit of trouble with all the weapons they have around them. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings, another undefeated team, 2-0, traveling to take on the Carolina Panthers. Undefeated teams all have tough tests this week. There aren't really any gimmies. I mean, if you look at it, Houston and New England, one of those teams is going to earn 3-0 for sure. Ravens are going to have to battle the Jaguars, who they struggle against, and they're on the road. The Broncos are also on the road against a very good opponent in the Bengals. The Vikings are on the road against a very good opponent in the Panthers, and I think Carolina here will get the win. I don't think the Panthers go to 1-2, and I don't think the Panthers drop a game at home this early in the season. I think the loss of Adrian Peterson will affect Minnesota in a negative way because I think Carolina's defense is still good. I think the Panthers take it by a score of 26-20. I think in overtime. This game could go into overtime. The Vikings are tough, but I think the Panthers get the win. Speaking of undefeated teams, I have the Redskins at the Giants. This may be one of the easier games that the undefeated teams face this week. I think the Giants surprise some people and get to 3-0 here. Yes, that means I have the Redskins dropping to 0-3, but would you pick the Redskins with the way they look right now? I certainly wouldn't. They couldn't win a game at home. They're 0-2 at home, and they're going on the road against the Giants, who are riding high. And I think the Giants get the win here, 31-20 over Washington. Next up, we got the Rams at the Buccaneers. Doug Martin's out for 3 weeks, but I don't think it matters much because the St. Louis Rams, although they're 1-1, the Rams have scored 9 points all year long. So I'm going with Tampa. I think the Bucs get on the right track here in this game. Kind of get let off with a little bit of a gimme, considering that the Rams are just not that good of a football team. So the only team the Rams can seem to beat is the Seahawks. I think the Bucs take it. I'm gonna go 17-10. It'll be a little low scoring because the Rams defense is still pretty good, and the Rams just have trouble scoring in general. Next up, we got the Niners at the Seahawks. What is going on with the Seattle Seahawks? They have scored 15 total points so far this year. They're 1-1. They still can't figure out the Rams. And the 49ers, on the other hand, they've been scoring some points. I mean, they have been scoring. So I think this game will be closer than a lot of people think. The line, I believe last I saw, was like Seattle's favored by 10. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I'm picking 49ers all day in that. Are you kidding me? Niners can't seem to score points. That being said, I will pick the Seahawks can't score points. I think Seattle wins this game, and I think they win it in overtime against the 49ers. Niners won't let them go quietly. Next up, we got the Jets at the Chiefs. Both teams 1-1. Both teams playoff contenders. Going with a home team here. I think Kansas City gets back on the right track. I know the Jets have had a little extra time to prepare for this, but the Kansas City Chiefs that finally dropped the game for the first time in the regular season in about a year. And the Jets, they have a lot of weapons that they could utilize in this game, but the thing is, Kansas City's defense is pretty good. I think it's better than Buffalo's, which is why I believe Kansas City will get the win here, 24-21 over the Jets. Next game, we have the Chargers traveling to take on the Colts. I'm going to go to Pro Football Focus again because some people may know this, some people may not know this, but the Colts always struggle. Again, the Colts have won their Week 3 game, 3 years in a row? 4 years in a row, however many years it is, because they start 0-2 and then they win. But this is a different story because the Colts have a negative history against the Chargers. San Diego has given Indianapolis fits over the years. Oh, wow. When I pull this up, yeah, they have. The Chargers have beaten the Colts their last 3 times. Actually, forget that. The Colts have only beaten the Chargers once in the last 10 years. These two teams play a lot. 2005, 2007, twice in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2013. Colts, 2005, they lost 26-17. 2007, they lost 23-21. 2008, they lost 28-24 in the playoffs. 2008 again, regular season, they won 23-20. So close game-winning field goal. I remember that. Playoffs in 2009, lost 23-17. 2010, lost 36-14. Andrew Luck is now with the team, lost 19-9. The Chargers just seem to beat the Colts. This is their first time playing since 2013, so it could be different. But San Diego, I think, is going to go into Indianapolis, and Aaron Rodgers, and I think Philip Rivers is going to have his way against this inferior Colts defense, because Philip Rivers has the tools, even without some of his receivers, to put up some stats. So I think the Chargers get the win here, 30-26 over Indianapolis. Next up, Steelers at Eagles. Eagles are undefeated. Steelers are undefeated. So another battle between undefeated teams. I think the Eagles crash back down to earth here because you can't play the 2 worst teams every single back-to-back weeks and have much success. So the Eagles have benefited. They might prove me wrong. The Seahawks or the Panthers proved me wrong last year, but needless to say, the Eagles have gotten lucky by playing the Browns and the Bears in the first 2 games of the season. This is where it gets real. I think the Steelers humble the Eagles a little bit. Carson Wentz can't have 3 great performances to start off as a rookie. And I think the Steelers take this game by a score of 31-16 over Philadelphia. Next up, we got Bears at Cowboys. I'm going to send the Bears to 0-3. That offense can't do much, and Dak Prescott looks good. I think Ezekiel Elliott will bounce back here a little bit against a team that can't seem to stop anything. And I think Dallas gets to 2-1. We'll go 22-14 over Chicago. Bears aren't a good football team. And on Monday Nighter, we have the Falcons at the Saints. I think both of these teams have played the Raiders already, so both of these teams can score points. And both of these teams have scored points. But the Saints, I think the Saints will come away with a win here. They're at home, and they usually play better when they're at home than on the road, usually. I think New Orleans gets the win in a battle of high-flying offenses by a score of 35-27. I feel like every time these two teams play, it's 35-27 or something like that, now that I think about it. but I think Drew Brees gets his first win of the season. Those are my picks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week.